It is obvious that New York City's racial problems are on the rise. Clashes over the Bensonhurst murder of Yusef Hawkins have shown the world one of this city's ugliest faces. Tonight I begin a series of special reports titled New York in Black and White. It's an effort to get all of us thinking and talking about how we see each other and why.
It's a girl. What did I tell you?
What we have to do is find out where all the hatred comes from and starts from, because people aren't born hating other people. They're taught it and they learn it.
Get a job! It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
What have you taught your child? Look at yourself. Shame? We should all be ashamed, because we're all guilty.
We're not racist. We love blacks. They love us, but it's our neighborhood.
It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
It's getting a little crazy now with all these marches.
The city is just like total chaos right now.
The city is divided.
Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
New York's current racial climate is tense, felt more or less depending on where you live and where you go. Many New Yorkers are asking, why have tensions tightened now? The easy and short answer may lie in a series of incidents, attacks, murders, police actions in the past few years. But New York has a much longer and violent history of racial trouble dating to the 1700s. The idea of New York as always socially liberal is a misconception. The worst carnage was the Civil War draft riots of 1863, sparked by President Lincoln imposing the nation's first ever military draft. More than 200 blacks were killed by Irish immigrants and others incensed at having to fight in what they called the Niggers' War. The Irish overran armories, and for 2 days, blacks literally went into hiding in the woods of Upper Manhattan. President Lincoln eventually sent federal troops to restore peace. In March 1935, white-owned stores along 125th Street were vandalized and looted after the arrest of a young black shoplifter. Depression-era Harlem had a 60% unemployment rate, and white stores refused to hire blacks. Black rage was directed towards symbols of white establishment: police, firefighters, and white merchants. August 1943, the police shooting and arrest of a black soldier again led to vandalism and looting of Harlem stores. Rumors that the soldier had been killed ignited nearly 12 hours of mayhem. 6 blacks were killed, more than 1,400 stores damaged, 185 people injured. And there were riots in 1964. New York is not proud of that part of the past, so it's buried in libraries and museums, never taught in schools. Unfortunately, the troubled side of our racial past is not the only missing history. Positive accomplishments of African Americans and other ethnics is also hidden.
We only have one source of information: the European. There's just a complete denial that these books on black science and culture exist.
Dr. Leonard Jeffries, chairman of Black Studies at City University, says by not teaching the contributions of New York's various cultures, schools leave the impression that America was shaped almost exclusively by whites.
Education is not taking place in its fullest dimension. What we're dealing with is miseducation. And because you do not have the truth of the African presence, of the Latin presence, of the Asian presence as a part of the socialization of all of our youngsters, you have an institutionalized white supremacy.
For example, we're taught that Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, but nothing about Lewis Latimer, inventor of the incandescent filament that made the bulb burn for hundreds of hours. Every day we use African-American inventions: the automatic traffic light, the turn signal on cars, air brakes on trains. The lubricating process that revolutionized industry and is still used to keep machines oiled while they work was developed by Elijah McCoy, son of runaway slaves. The term "the real McCoy" became a part of our language, but McCoy's contribution is ignored by history books.
Teachers cannot teach what they do not know. They do not have an opportunity to learn about the contributions of ethnic minorities because this information is not contained in their material. So you have what is set up as a vicious cycle.
The teaching material is available from coloring and comic books to college textbooks, but they're not used in schools. Dr. Jeffries is one of 4 consultants now helping New York rewrite its public school curriculum to include some of the lost history. This report to the State Education Commissioner, A Curriculum of Inclusion, was released publicly 2 weeks ago.
Our contribution has been enormous, but it's been kept hidden from us, and we need it to nurture us, and white folks need it in order to have a fuller understanding of our enormous contributions.
As New York in Black and White continues this week, we'll also look at how crime and media affect our views of race relations, and at the end we'll ask you to ask yourself a tough question.
The recent racial murder in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn has kicked up an uncomfortable reaction.